In this video, I'll uncover the best carbs to be eaten when you have insulin resistance. Now, if you have insulin resistance, one of the things that you've probably been told is that you need to avoid carbs forever. And the truth is, I've been able to help a lot of people reverse insulin resistance, allowing them to have certain carbohydrates. And the other truth is that not all carbs are created equal. And so that's what we're going to discuss in this video. I'm going to give you the parameters to look for in a healthy carb. I'm also going to give you the carbs that you have to avoid if you want to reverse insulin resistance. And then I'm also going to share with you the carbs that you can have. And at the end of this video, I have a special gift for you. So stick around to the end. But before we get started, I'm Dr. Zarowski and welcome to the channel. If you're new to the channel, it's a pleasure to have you here. Be sure to subscribe, hit that bell notification, and join our notification community. That way I can help you excel your health and your life. Now let's go ahead and dive right in. So let's talk about the carbohydrate parameters, because this is so important. You know, I remember when I was younger being in the hospital with my grandfather towards the end of his life. One of the things he had was really bad diabetes, and so the nurses would come in and they'd give him his insulin shots. And the thing that drove me crazy is that even though at the time I really didn't know that much about health, and I probably wasn't eating even remotely healthy myself at the time, I knew that there was something very wrong with the food that they were giving him. For lunch, they'd bring him in a sandwich with white bread. They'd bring him in a flavored yogurt that's loaded with sugar. They'd bring him in a bowl of fruit and they'd finish it off with a little snack cookie of some sort. And it's like, so here they are pumping him full of insulin, but also going and bringing him a whole bunch of high sugar foods, which was just crazy to me. Like I said, I didn't have much of an understanding of food at the time, but I knew that something was wrong. So when we look at carbs, we have to make sure that if we're going to incorporate them in when we have insulin resistance, they fall within these parameters. They're rich in fiber, they contain protein, and they're nutrient dense. And the reason that this is important because these will be absorbed and utilized in the body very different than the typical carbohydrates that we see people eating today. And I'm going to get to those in just a moment. So we want to make sure they fall into these parameters right here. And then of course, what about fats? You know, it's also good to have fats during this time. Now, typical in the medical model of nutrition, when we look at diabetics and diabetes, what we see is that they just strip out all the fats, right? They want to have no-fat yogurt. They want to have low-fat cheeses. They want to take all the fats out of the whole diet. And the thing is that fats are very beneficial at this time. We just need good quality fats, right? Avocado, coconut oil. If you're going to do dairy, high quality dairy that's loaded with all the different fats. And so fats are good at this time. Especially, you know, a lot of times it's recommended for diabetics to have yogurt, but you want to make sure that you're getting that full fat yogurt that is not flavored with a whole bunch of sweetener in it. So let's go ahead now and talk about, now that we know the parameters, let's talk about the carbs that you have to just stay away from completely. And these are the typical carbs that are destroying people's lives, okay? We're going to see things like pasta, donuts, cookies, condiments, crackers, cereals, French fries. All these different carbohydrates have something in common. They have no nutrient density to them. They are just going to be absorbed in the body, skyrocket your blood sugar for hours, and cause complete metabolic instability, raise your insulin levels, cause havoc, okay? We have to be avoiding these. These are the typical carbohydrates that most people are waking up and eating every single day throughout the day. So we have to make sure that we're avoiding this stuff during this time. These are not the carbohydrates that you want to be eating if you have insulin resistance. You need to avoid these like the plague. Now let's go ahead and talk about the different carbohydrates you can have. Now these are some of the different carbohydrates that are great. They're high in fiber. They have protein in them. They also have fats in them. There are different carbohydrates that are extremely nutrient dense. So they're going to be absorbed completely different than those other ones I just talked about. And they also have nutritional benefit to them. So things like yams, yellow beans, turnips, tomatoes, squash, and all these different fruits, vegetables that we're talking about here are very, very good. Though they are high in carbohydrates, it's a totally different style of carbohydrates and they act totally different on the body. Now, here's a lot of the great ones, and one of the things I said I was going to share with you is, you know, something to really set you up for success. In the description below, I'm going to put a link to a download that's going to have all of these and more on it, so you can actually get that full list. So check that out. The other thing you're going to want to check out too is I did a full video on how to reverse insulin resistance. Be sure to check that video out because it's very beneficial in order to really help set you on the right path. Now, I want to talk about a few other things here too. Now, when we look at things like berries, okay, let's just talk about fruit. Let's talk about consuming fruit when you have insulin resistance. You want to make sure that you're consuming berries, because berries are high in antioxidants, they're low glycemic, lots of nutritional benefit of decreasing inflammation, making your insulin resistance reverse itself, lots of benefits there. We don't ever want to overdo it, but if we're going to have fruit, we want to be eating berries. The other thing too here is that if you're going to have yogurt, like I mentioned before, full fat, no sweetener, and make sure that you're doing the right thing when it comes to eating different fatty foods. Stay away from the different vegetable oils, the peanut oils, the fried foods. Those are not the kind of fats that you want. You want the coconut oil, avocado oil, olive oil. Those are the fats that you really want to stick towards, full fat dairy. So anyway, make sure that when you have insulin resistance, you are staying away from those bad carbs, but you're able to utilize these good ones very successfully. If you have insulin resistance, think no grains, no sugars, and also none of these bad, highly inflammatory, highly blood sugar dysregulating carbohydrates. So stick to this guide. Download that link in the description here below in order to get the full guide here, and give this video a thumbs up, share it with your friends. If you have any questions, comments, anything, put it right here in the comment section. And then if you want to learn more how to improve your health, reverse health conditions, exercise, take proper supplementation, be sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification so you never miss a new video, and then also be sure to go in and check out my other videos that are going to help you lose weight and help you with the health goals that you have. I'll see you in the next video.